This week, we have some new clues in the disappearance of a young woman who vanished while on a cross-country adventure. It's been nearly 2 months since Chelsea Grimm set off from California on a road trip heading to the East Coast. Chelsea was on her way to a friend's wedding, and at one point she called her parents saying that she was instead going to head home. And that's when the trail goes cold.
Chelsea Grimm set off from San Diego on a cross-country road trip on September 24th. She was going to a wedding in Connecticut. Working as an artist and photographer, Chelsea planned to document her 2,800-mile road trip through photos.
She was spontaneous. She changed plans a lot. The magnitude of this adventure, quote unquote, of driving across the country was a lot, even for Chelsea.
Chelsea had first planned on flying to Connecticut, but decided to drive to accommodate her new pet bearded dragon, Roz. 3 days into the trip, her parents said she called and said she didn't think she could do the trip by herself and was going to camp for a few days instead before coming home. She arrived in Phoenix and met up with her sister as well as a friend. She was supposed to meet that same friend for lunch the next day, but canceled, arriving in Williams, Arizona instead. Chelsea was parked near a graveyard and war memorial when she was stopped by a police officer responding to a call.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers. I got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got back on the road. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha.
Well, I didn't plan to be here till sunset.
Okay, just hang out here however long you want. You're good to go.
Her parents said Chelsea's response in that call did not seem out of the ordinary.
One thing that seemed very in the ordinary or in character was how I think she said, "I appreciate your compassion," or something like that. That sounded 110% like Chelsea.
The officer in that stop suggested safe places for Chelsea to camp for the night. She was spotted again by a woodcutter on September 30th, camping in her car near Ash Fork, Arizona. Chelsea had told her parents she may not have phone service while she was camping, but after not hearing from her for several days, her parents reported her missing on October 4th. Just 1 day later, her SUV, a white Ford Focus, was found abandoned on the side of the road with 2 flat tires.
She seemed to have left that car of her own volition in an organized way. It was locked. She had taken her wallet and we think her phone and her sleeping bag, among other things, along with the bearded dragon.
Authorities have notified police in other states to be on the lookout for Chelsea. Her family's also hired a private investigator.
There was 2 flat tires. It was out on a dirt road. How far was the body cam video where she was talked to by the police there to where the car was found? Did somebody interact with her and then they drove down that road?
Her parents telling News Nation's Brian Entin they were hanging on to hope that someone would recognize her with her pet dragon.
The chances of people recognizing Chelsea are at least sort of connecting the dots. If they see somebody with a bearded dragon, they're going to take an extra look at that person.
She was trying to book a motel in, now, if you're local, please help me say that. It's at Seligman, near Williams, Arizona. and she reportedly seemed a little bit disorientated. So the sheriff said, we were told by one individual, and I don't know who that individual is, but one individual, that she seemed confused when she was in Silliman. She was trying to exchange euros as opposed to US currency. Now, I've got so many questions, like, why euros? You guys know I'm from Europe. Yeah, I'm like, why you got euros? You're in San Diego. Did you recently travel? We don't know where the euros came from or why euros, or if she really had euros or believed she had euros. But she was trying to exchange these euros, seeming very disorientated, and I believe didn't book the motel there, right?
You will find out. Well, I'll let you guys know. Okay, SF provided a posting on the 27th, okay? Well, that was yesterday. And he initially, and we'll look at it all. I did have a conversation with SF, and I completely understand, and it's going to give a little bit more context to some of this, I think. But I'm very limited to what I can and can't say out of respect for the family, the investigation, and SF. But he posted on the 28th, or 27th, I have left Williams and the search for Chelsea Grimm. Although I hope to locate Chelsea, today I did find evidence through eyewitness accounts and video surveillance that may give us a reason to be cautiously optimistic that Chelsea is alive. I have included a few seconds of a 4-minute surveillance video of Chelsea at a motel and describing her intentions to go off the grid and start a new life to the front desk person. She changed her mind when checking in because her credit card is trackable. She comes back a second time and has another discussion with the female. This does not prove that she is okay and that something did not go wrong in the forest, but it gives hope that she's trying to make a change in her life and doesn't realize a large-scale attempt to find her is taking place. If that's the case, then this is not a deception or faking disappearance. This is someone that is suffering and trying to find a solution. I am not going to share the full clip or the full thing, but also my other question, did you talk to the witnesses that seen her disoriented or spotted her at the hotel? Do you know anything about that?
No. So, we've seen, obviously everybody's seen the body cam footage from the 28th. And the one thing we have not been able to verify is the motel story with the euros. But there were some odd things going on. So it would not be it wouldn't be out of line, and she does travel there. So nobody's discounting that. It's just that we haven't talked. We don't know exactly who got that story. And so we don't know what motel, and it has not been a focus of our attention because it does line up with other things well enough that it's like, okay, it's probably true. Because when the officer told her you should go to Love's truck stop, they won't bother you over there. We do know that she made contact over there. So we do have that stuff. I can't disclose anything, but she did go there. So the motel thing, it might be an interesting point. We just doesn't help us solve it right now. And but I wouldn't discount it because she was having a rough time.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers. I got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got back on the road. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha.
I didn't plan to be here till sunset.
Okay, just hang out here however long you want. You're good to go.
Her parents said Chelsea's response in that call did not seem out of the ordinary.
One thing that seemed very in the ordinary or in character was how I think she said, "I appreciate your compassion," or something like that. That sounded 110% like Chelsea.
I don't know why she'd go off the main road and then all of a sudden go through the trees, but she's also not in the best spot mental health wise. So there's mania going on, and you don't know what get, you know, what the thought process is.
Right.
And see how it just drops here into the rocks. Now this is the only thing in the area, but this is also a long ways away from where the car was ultimately found. Where it was found was literally on the crest. I mean, on the high.
That my co-star.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Here it is. I wonder where this troll came from. This is what I was asking. It's low when these lowlifes come into Facebook justice groups to give misinformation when the professionals are working. Get the fuck off with this shit, basically. So this Gerling coughs, cars, something, posted something on this Facebook group. And I was like, you know, and shout out to the person that sent it to me. They said, I spoke with private investigator Kelly Thompson, who was hired by Chelsea's parents. He said that SF Investigate guy is not working with him or Chelsea's family. Also, said that SF Investigate has been putting out false info about the case on Twitter. Just letting y'all know. And I saw that shit and I immediately commented, and then suddenly this troll goes away. But you know, there was some. Mr. Kelly Thompson went under there and said, Gerline, when did you ever talk with me? Steve with SF Investigates is working with my agency. And this far, he has proven himself as a valuable resource. Please, folks, this is a serious matter. We are doing everything possible to find Chelsea Grimm. So let's post factual. God bless you all. And if you find any solid intelligence, please let me know. Shout out to him. I truly hope she's okay. So I was shown some pictures of some items. Okay. And she was staging items that she had with her. Okay. In a very ritualistic way. Okay. And I completely understand when I saw these pictures, I completely understood why SF said what he said. All right.
And things like that.
The tidbit about her trying to use, I think it was like euros instead of dollars, and possibly being disoriented. Do you know anything more about that? Because her parents, told me, she was an artist. It wasn't odd for her to be in the cemetery taking pictures as part of her art project. It just seems strange to me that there was that one account that maybe she was like disoriented at one point.
Yeah, right now I can't say that I would verify that with you right now. I mean, I thought it was a little odd where she was crying, but the law enforcement officer walked up to her and she was crying. And he asked her, and she said it's because she just took pictures at the graveyard and she was weeping for the soldiers. I don't know. I've never personally met Chelsea, but she seems like a nice heart, very compassionate girl. But was she actually crying and just saying that to law enforcement? You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Thanks for having me, Marty. They didn't seem to express that she was having any kind of like mental health issues that they knew of. I think they felt having me, Marty. They didn't seem to express that she was having any kind of like mental health issues that they knew of. I think parents did say that she was very, very adventurous. And so it wasn't like uncommon that she was going to camp out or that she was kind of doing this. Parents did say that she was very, very adventurous. And so it wasn't like uncommon that she was going to camp out or that she was kind of doing this. One of the things that I asked about was like, did her friend express any kind of, concern that she was acting weird? And the parents said no. And
because when the officer told her you should go to Love's truck stop, they won't bother you over there. We do know that she made contact over there. So
okay,
we do have that stuff. I can't disclose anything, but she did go there. So the motel thing, it might be an interesting.
the things that I asked about was like, did her friend express any kind of concern that she was acting weird? And the parents said no. And I asked to get in touch with the friend, and that never happened. It would have been nice to talk to the friend, one-on-one. But the parents said that the friend didn't have any concerns, didn't say that Chelsea was acting weird at all. The part of the story that I've also sort of thought is interesting, where they said that Chelsea, in the days leading up to her disappearance, tried to pay for something with euros instead of US dollars. Again, just made me wonder if maybe, she was having some kind of mental health issue, and maybe just wanted to go off the grid. It's now been quite a long time. You'd think she would have popped up by now, but even though the parents said the friend didn't have any information that she was acting strange, there were some other reports of some kind of strange behavior.
Yeah. I've got a question.
Fine financially, and also Coconino County doesn't need the help. Before I went, I talked to Coconino County.
Yes.
They credentialed me. This before I was brought onto the case. They credentialed me, and then they got back to me and said, "Okay, we'll take it. We'll use your help." They didn't want these guys up there, and I think they were just trying with what we know. That was at 6 a.m. on the 29th. So that would have meant that she goes over to Love's, and then that night drives up there in the dark and picks a place to just, she didn't have a camp set up.
Okay.
She had the door open and was walking out in the field, but there was also like this big bull elk out in the field. So it got people's attention. So she was probably out there taking a picture of the elk.
What did you take away from your discussion with her parents as to what was happening with her in the days leading up to her disappearance?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Marnie. They didn't seem to express that she was having any kind of mental health issues that they knew of.
But
oh wow, so she has a psychology degree. She's a counselor as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, but
Wow.
this boyfriend and the guy that came up with her is, these are all things that just throw us off. Like, why are these people so inserted, and why are they starting GoFundMe's, and they're not supposed to be around anyways,
Well,
so.
did they consult with the family? That
No.
was my question.
But she's also not in the best spot mental health wise. So there's mania going on, and you don't know what.
And describing her intentions to go off the grid and start a new life to the front desk person.
Parents did say that she was very, very adventurous. And so it wasn't uncommon that she was going to camp out, or that she was kind of doing this. Parents did say that she was very, very adventurous. And so it wasn't uncommon that she was going to camp out, or that she was kind of doing this.
What did you take away from your discussion with her parents as to what was happening with her in the days leading up to her disappearance?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Marnie. They didn't seem to express that she was having any kind of mental health issues that they knew of.
Throw us off. Like, why are these people so inserted? And throw us off. Like, why are these people so inserted? And